Hey, what's up guys? It's Oakley, and if you didn't know already, there's going to be a new expansion pack. It's actually a campaign pack for Rome 2. It's going to be called Caesar in Gaul. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. I took note of this a couple days ago, but I've been busy. Got back from Thanksgiving. Actually had to overnight in over in Phoenix on my way back to California because of travel problems. But anyways, yeah, I checked in on the news. It's pretty cool, so I figured I would bring it to your attention. We can talk a little bit about this here. I'll show you some of the images. Here's the one from the front page. Looks very, very cool with Caesar's Legion. Of course, the famous 10th Legion here moving forward. Caesar in the forefront, looking very, very epic. And let's go ahead and look at some of the other details. So here's a post that was made by Craig from Total War, and they're explaining what Caesar in Gaul is. Basically, it's a focus going to be on, obviously, Gaul, so modern-day France, a little bit into England. You also see a bit of Germany, and I think it goes down into the northern reaches of Italy. So we may be seeing that. Anyways, it looks very cool. It's a new campaign map, 18 provinces dotted with resources, new settlements, and new provincial capitals. So they're going to be focusing in on a portion of the map and just blowing it out with tons of detail. Now, some of the really cool things that are going to come into effect are 24 turns per year because the time span for Caesar's campaigns were that much shorter. So that means it's going to be 2 weeks rather than a year per turn. I think that is very, very cool, very tactical, and it means that when you finally do hit the winter seasons or all that, it's going to be that much more important to plan around campaigning in the summer or in the more favorable seasons. It also affects your food production and storage and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool to be able to see a return of the seasons and the shorter turn time. Next is going to be compact focus multiplayer campaign. It says they're going to be revamping some of that. New mid-game challenge mechanics is what they're saying. So if you play as Rome, then all of a sudden somewhere around the mid-game is when the tribes are going to unite against you, sort of like Vercingetorix did facing Caesar. So you're going to see a coalition. I'm not sure if that's going to be sort of like we saw in Shogun 2, where you get to a certain amount of like prestige and power and then everyone turns on you. We'll see how that turns out. I'm sort of against that type of mechanism, but I think it does sort of help with problems of stagnation in the mid to late game. Also, it says if you play as the Gallic tribes and you start doing really well, all of a sudden Rome is going to come in with a lot of armies, so they may spawn in some more stuff like that, give Rome a huge influx of like new legions sent from Rome, something like that, which would be very cool to be the Gauls and have to fight off waves and waves of Romans. I think that's really cool. So anyways, a new historical battle, talking about the Battle of Alesia. So this is, of course, where Caesar built the two lines of walls to trap the Gauls who were basically had retreated into Alesia. That's where Vercingetorix was, and he had his forces in there. As he was basically in that settlement, he called for more reinforcements to reach him, and so you have the Roman legions fully encircling this town, and then you have a huge barbarian force that comes and unites one of the biggest tribal confederation armies, I think, ever, or at least in a long time. Roughly about 200,000, they think, arrived and attacked these fortifications, trying to break through to relieve Alesia on the inside. It was a little bit hard for coordinating the attack from the inside outside. Anyway, very, very epic battle. I would love to see how they did this because the defenses themselves, from Caesar's perspective, he had lots of lines of walls, towers, different sorts of like barricades. They have traps. It's really, really cool, and I can't wait to see that. It'll be for a very epic engagement. So that's going to be a historical battle. Playable factions, they're going to add a couple new ones. So going into the more specifics of the tribes, new units that are going to be added to the game. So those are to some of the existing factions as well as to the new factions. Lots of units here. Check out the link as well. And then also there's this image here that you should take a look at right here that shows the different seasons on the campaign map and just how big the campaign map is. So overall, I think it's very, very cool that they're going to have this expansion. Something that I wanted to do was try and bring you a documentary in the future on Caesar in Gaul, but I never really knew how I would be able to properly present that because of the way the campaign's set up, the way that I wouldn't be able to truly show Alesia. So I'm very happy to see this come out. Now, the question comes down to, should you be buying this expansion pack? I know, I'll just speak from my own experience, I am going to buy it. The reason I buy Total War games is because I love history. It allows me to relive history, and no matter how corrupt or problematic you can think CA might be, their motivations for releasing this without fully fixing the game, you know, all those things that people start complaining about on the forums. I've been on the forums. There's a lot of people who are saying I'm not going to buy this, I'm going to protest. You know, guys, I'm just here to enjoy history, and if it allows me to dive in and relive Caesar's conquests, that's what I'm going to do. So if you decide not to buy the game, sort of a passive resistance of CA, or if you're going to wait for discounts, I fully support you doing that. I'm going to let you know that I'm going to go ahead and get the game, and as soon as possible, I'll try and share it with you guys, let you know if it's worth buying, and then I'll probably try and do more historical things, bringing the historical context, use this new expansion pack sort of as if I'm buying a documentary tool or a tool that allows me to better explain history. That's kind of how I view this campaign, this new campaign pack. So that's what I'm going to be doing with it, and I hope you can enjoy. Speaking of documentaries, the Punic War documentary, keep in mind I'm still working on that. I know I've said that for a while. I know it's been 2.5 or 3 months since the first one came out. The reason I was able to get that one out so soon was because A, it was during the summer, B, it actually didn't require too much of the filming. So in game, I didn't have too much variation. I had still shots. I used pretty good amount of maps. So in this new iteration, I am in the process of getting all the footage for it and sticking it together. So I would say it's about 60% done for part 2, and it has a lot more interesting shots in it, a lot more detailed maps. I'm putting more effort into it. I think it'll look great. I think you guys will appreciate it, but it's just with school, it's hard to manage and to finish on time. I just want to let you guys know that I'm still working on that. It's still looking very, very cool, and I'm excited to share it with you. So anyways, in my free time, I'll be working on that. I'm on the quarter system, so 2 weeks from now I'll be on Christmas break, so I'll probably be able to, if I don't finish it by then I'll just bring it home and have a lot of free time to work on part 2. Hopefully I'll even be able to get out a part 3 over Christmas break. And actually, I didn't mention Caesar in Gaul comes out, let me check this real quick, I believe, it says here, okay, yeah, this is most important. So Caesar in Gaul comes out December 12th, 2013 for $15 US, 10 euros, I believe, and yeah, something like that. So as I said, check the links below for more details. I will be getting the game sort of regardless of how good it is. I'm just there for the history and the enjoyment, and I'll try and share that with you. As to whether or not you want to buy it, I would say, given CA's past, maybe wait for a little bit to see what people think about it. Anyways, thanks so much. I'll see you guys next time.